Yep, it's going.
So, for this case study, we've decided to take the stance that it is not ethical. Can I see the question on your phone actually real quick? I just want to make sure we have the question right. So the question of is it ethical for publicly traded companies to terminate employees whose private beliefs and actions do not interfere with the functioning or success of that company? We would argue that it is not ethical, and we would like to start by first having a counter argument that would say that it is ethical. You could argue that the utilitarian standpoint would argue that it is an ethical practice based upon the amount of people that decided not to use Mozilla and the amount of people that were upset that the CEO would privately support Proposition 8. So you could argue that the utility generated from terminating his contract would appease these other people. But the 3 points we would like to make that would, we believe, have a higher precedence over utilitarian is contractarianism, virtue ethics, and if we look at things from a Kantian perspective. And so we as a team will discuss those three and show that they have a higher moral precedent than utilitarianism.
Alright, so we'll begin by arguing our virtue ethics point, which simply states that you should do that which a good person will do. And because this person was fouled solely because of his beliefs, he was discriminated against. Fouling somebody because of belief on a certain issue is the same as fouling them because of their religion. You're basing your decision solely on the fact that you don't like how that other person thinks, which is by definition, which is discrimination. And according to virtue ethics, you should never discriminate because you should do that which a good person would do, and good people don't discriminate.
The second point that we would like to make is through Kantian ethics, it's not moral because the act in and of itself is not moral through the first and second categorical imperative. Because if people were to fire their employees just because of their belief outside of the company, that doesn't affect the company, then that would not be able to stand ethically because you're taking someone's beliefs outside of the company that does not affect the company in any way. And you're judging them based on their beliefs, and that is not ethical according to Kant.
We would also argue that contractarianism comes into play here, and when you're using the argument of contractarianism, it's very easy to view the contract on the side that we are trying to argue, but we'd like to look at both sides of the contract, also almost in a utilitarian standpoint. The first contract that's made obviously is between this company, Mozilla, and its the consumer or the customer, which is the people that use Mozilla Firefox. So you could argue that they have a contract with these people, and that if these buyers and customers and consumers don't want the product to be run by this CEO, that Mozilla has a contract with these people to terminate his contract. But we would argue, once again, that a higher moral precedent is set when you look at the contract that the company has with the CEO. Obviously, they've worked with the CEO for many years. I can't remember the number of how many years he's been there, but he's been there for a very long time, obviously, to become the CEO. And we believe that the Board of Trustees and the board itself has a contract with its CEO that he should have job security and not have to worry about what he does in his private life, and that takes a higher precedence than the outcry of these other people, and that they should stand by their employee and their CEO. We can also look to the case of what in the recent news is what's happened in Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has stood by their CEO and his high beliefs and hasn't terminated him based upon a certain outcry from the people. And they had a Chick-fil-A day where people were trying to not go to Chick-fil-A, and that didn't go over so well. But then they had a Chick-fil-A day where they tripled their sales. And so we believe that if they would stick by their CEO, that people would respect that, and that the contract would have been upheld. If we have nothing else to add, we cede the rest of our time.